Hi, my name is Eric Walters.
And I'm Paul Coccia, and we're co-authors of a book called On the Line.
We were thrilled that our book was nominated for the Red Maple. It's no secret that I love the Forest of Reading Awards, and of all the Forest of Reading Awards, the Red Maple is my favorite. Paul, did you know I've won more Red Maples than anyone else?
Anyone else or anyone else combined, Eric?
I think any two people, about five. I think I'm the biggest winner of Forest of Reading Awards. But do you know I've lost more Red Maple Forest of Reading Awards than anybody else? I'm the biggest loser.
So you're the most winningest and the most losingest.
I am. But either way, it's great because what I love is the book that young people choose is the best, whether it's mine or somebody else. In this case, whether it's ours or somebody else. Although let's be honest about this. We really hope you liked our book a little bit more than you liked the others.
A lot bit. We want the Red Maple readers to like ours a lot bit more.
we would like that. You're going to have a chance during this tape to see hear more about our book On the Line, but this is a bonus thing. Two of our favorite people, two of the other writers in this program this year, Kathy Kacer and Teresa Toten, both have books, and we've got a little bit of their books that you can learn about as well, because we'd like you to enjoy all the books. Thank you for being part of this. Take care.
Hey, hi, welcome to my writing room. I'm Teresa Toten, and this is my book, 8 Days. Remember the fans. 8 Days is a sad book. It's kind of a tragic book. It's a very funny book, and mainly it's a book full of love, heartache, and laughter together. It's about 14-year-old Sammy, who goes on an 8-day road trip with her alcoholic, crusty grandfather and the world's most weird and delightful next-door neighbor, Aggie. And they go from Thorncliffe Park in Toronto to the south side of Chicago to bring back the remains of her mother's body. And along that route and back, she discovers, well, the family discovers, a lot of dark secrets. Part of the mystery and the things she discovers, yes, have to do with a paint fan. It's a big part of the story. There is hurt in there, but there is so much love and so much laughter and a bit of hurt as well. I hope that you love 8 Days as much as I loved writing it. It was one of my favorite books of all time to write. Thank you for even thinking about it. See you soon, I hope. Bye.
If I make back home, I'm just stuck here in a dream. At the bottom.
Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Kacer and I'm here to talk to you today about this book, Under the Iron Bridge, which is a nominee for the Red Maple Award. Now, I write a lot of books that focus on stories of the Second World War and the Holocaust, that terrible time in history when Adolf Hitler and his followers tried to kill all the Jews of Europe and possibly the whole world had he not been stopped. Many of the books that I've written have focused on Jewish survivors of the Holocaust. But lately I've become more and more interested in telling the stories of rescuers, those brave individuals who were willing to risk their own lives to help or save their Jewish friends and neighbors. Under the Iron Bridge is the story of a group of rescuers, actually teenage resistance fighters who came together in Nazi Germany during the Second World War, and they were known as the Edelweiss Pirates, girls and boys between the ages of 14 and 17. Now, they called themselves the Edelweiss Pirates because they wore on their collar or lapel a pin in the shape of an Edelweiss flower. That's a flower that is known to grow in very rough conditions, often out of the side of rocky mountains, and it's known to be very tough and very hardy. And that's how the Edelweiss Pirates saw themselves, tough and resilient and able to fight back. This group was also completely opposed to Adolf Hitler and everything that his political party, the Nazi Party, stood for. And these teens became one of the largest youth groups that rejected Nazi activities. Over the course of the war, they offered shelter to prisoners from concentration camps. They made armed raids on military depots. They stole explosives and supplied them to other resistance groups. They were considered to be traitors by the Nazi government. Those who were caught were sent to prison. Some were even hanged. I was fascinated when I first learned the story of the Edelweiss Pirates, and I was determined to create a book about them for young readers like you. So Under the Iron Bridge is the story of a German boy named Paul who grows up hating everything to do with Adolf Hitler and his ideology. He has a great friend, a Jewish girl named Annalia, and he hates seeing how those terrible rules restricting the freedom of Jewish people has affected his friend Annalia and the other Jewish members of his community. He doesn't know what to do about that until one day he meets a group of teenagers working to fight against the growing power of the Nazis. And that group, of course, was the Edelweiss Pirates. Paul makes a courageous decision to join them, and his life is turned upside down as he faces the danger of being part of this group. I hope you read Under the Iron Bridge to find out what happened to Paul and the other members of the Edelweiss Pirates, a real up and down, hold your breath kind of story, and also to find out what happens to Paul and Annalia. When I think about resistors and rescuers at that time, I know there were not enough of them, and had there been more, this time in history could have been dramatically different. This story is an example of what young people like you were capable of doing. When you read this book, I want you to think about your own lives and what you're prepared to do to stand up for your friends and neighbors, to speak up when injustice occurs in your communities, to choose to act with compassion, following the example of the Edelweiss Pirates in Under the Iron Bridge.
Paul, we should talk a little bit about our book On the Line. Certainly, it's unique to have two people co-writing a book. That doesn't happen a lot, does it?
Well, Eric, you've co-written a few times, but this was a great one because what's interesting about it is we shared a perspective through the character of Jordan.
That was really a unique way to do it. Sometimes I've written alternate characters with people. This was you and I writing the same person, the same situation, which takes a certain intensity of writing experience and a real intimacy of how we create that character. People have asked us, was this a difficult process? I tell them it was impossible because you were a terrible. No, I tell them how fun this is.
No, well, Eric, how impossible am I? It's like impossible beef. You can believe it's beef if you like it.
Yeah. We just had a great time writing this. We hope you'll have a great time reading it. Basically, it's about a young man and his father and their relationship, and them changing the way the relationship was, but learning that while some things change, so much remains the same.
Yeah, and there's also, I think, a strong lesson about empathy and allyship that I hope readers take away. But overall, it's a really fun, fast-paced book with a lot of basketball, fast cars, and a little bit of romance. Not too much.
And some baking. Don't forget baking.
Oh, just a touch of baking.
See, this is something Paul and I have in common. He really likes baking, and I really like eating baked goods. So if you're in one of those categories, you like baking or like eating baked goods, this is the book for you.
So whatever book that you decide is the best one, vote for that one. And if it happens to be ours,
can we bribe them? Can we send them donuts or something? Is that a possibility?
Timbits are always popular.
You can't do that. Okay, go to a Tim Hortons and say, I deserve free baked goods. See what it gets you. It
Put
might
it on
only
Eric's tab.